So, Rob, why is this happening now in Jordan?
Well, these are difficult times for Jordan, both politically and economically, and largely because of the crises that are going on elsewhere, particularly obviously in Syria and Iraq. You've got 3 million refugees inside Jordan at the moment. That's about 33% of the population. Now, for any country, look how in Europe we look at the problems of refugees. We don't have anything like the problem that Jordan, with far fewer resources than European countries have. How it deals with that is obviously enormously difficult and a huge burden on the economy. And that is the key issue at the moment. The economy is suffering. Although in many respects Jordan has been doing more successfully than its neighbouring countries, it is still suffering as a consequence of the crises in the region. In 2016, had to take a large loan from the International Monetary Fund, $723 million, a credit line to sort out the public debt and get its finances in order. But the quid pro quo, of course, is it had to introduce tough measures, including price hikes on essentials like bread, electricity, fuel, which in turn are fueling the current unrest. And when the government introduced or has tried to introduce these new measures, raising taxes on companies, on individuals, it proved too much for many Jordanians. We haven't seen demonstrations of this sort on the streets of Jordan for many years now. And although it seems for the moment as though things are pretty much under control, there will still be a great deal of nervousness, I think, in government and royal circles in Jordan that this could still get out of hand.
So now the Prime Minister's gone, is that going to be enough to put a stop to the protests?
Well, I mean, this is the key question. There's no doubt that King Abdullah is regarded favourably by most Jordanians. He manages somehow to stay above the fray. But if the new man, Omar al-Razaz, is not that dissimilar from the previous incumbent. He comes from a World Bank economist background. He's going to be following pretty much the same line, I would have thought, as his predecessor. And to a degree as well, Jordan and its economic policies are straitjacketed by the demands of the IMF. So what he can do differently is difficult really to see. He may try to slow things down. He may, as has been suggested already, go back on the suggested tax hikes for businesses and for individuals. But that will probably only be a temporary measure. He still has to deal with the problem of how he repays the loans to the IMF. So I would have thought that even if the current government manages to put off the promised strikes that are be made by the unions in Jordan for next Wednesday, down the line, I don't see how we can avoid the sort of problems that the previous government dealt with, and we'll be back to square one.
And what makes Jordan important? Well,
it's strategically, it's very important. Its position where it is in the Middle East on those sort of crossroads, but also it's been a loyal ally to the West for many, many years now, decades. And up until now, has by and large managed to avoid the instability that has cursed the rest of the region. If there is instability in Jordan, and if the sort of fissures start to appear, which have been in the background for a long time now, but if they start to widen and Jordan itself starts to fall apart, there will be enormous concern in the West, particularly the United States, which regards Jordan as an essential ally in the region. One of the few countries to have recognized Israel.